thank you to our sponsors, K. Flynn Insurance, elect Bruce Becker for the Lincoln County Fire Board, and the Crafty Midwestern Mommy for their continued support of the Lincoln County Podcast. Hey guys, thank you for checking out the Lincoln County Podcast today. We have another special guest, another Lincoln County business owner that we're excited to have on. And we're going to talk a little bit about what she does, what she offers the community. A lot of you guys already know her, so we're going to get started, and I'm going to turn it on over to her. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. My name is Ashley Corbin. Where do I look?
Me.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You're good.
My name is Ashley Corbin. I own Golden Brew Coffee in Moscow Mills, Missouri with my fiance, Brandon Rolfing. So we are just a mobile coffee trailer. We typically don't do events anymore. We have the station in the Lions Club parking lot. So we typically stay there now. Whenever we started, we did a lot of events just to move around, get our name out there.
Yeah.
But since it took off there, I feel like people want us to always be in one stable location. So
people are creatures of habit. So I could see that being having to search out where you are.
Yes.
I could see that being a pain.
Yes. Whenever we started, we thought we were going to just bounce around all the time. And then it just ended up people like us in one spot. So
yeah.
But we're actually building a truck. Well, we've paused on that a little bit, but we did buy a truck so that we could do both.
Oh, so you can do both? Nice.
Yeah. That way we can still do events because events are so fun. Just being out in the community and getting to meet people and other business owners. That's always fun.
Well, I always get people, we do the fair every year and they're like, well, you're so established, the schools are, but why do you do it? I'm like, because it's when I get to meet and talk to everybody. And there's been several people I've just talked to chatting. And then later on, there's a business connection there or something it's just important to get out there. We're in a community where that is very important to get out there and know everyone. The people that open a business and sit in it every day and don't go out and get to know everyone are missing out because they're giving up so many great people and they're giving up a lot of business.
Yeah. I think it's so the fair was so fun just to have a change of scenery.
Yeah.
To get to interact with people that I don't normally see. We got, after we did the fair, so many it was a lot of young kids because we were open in the morning at the fair and nothing else was open in the morning because we were serving coffee and our Lotus drinks in the afternoon. But the morning, all of the Troy FFA kids started coming and now they're still customers, but it's literally from the fair.
Well, and you have to do that. I set up there for martial arts school and I'll throw some painting stuff up and you have to go to your clients. You can't, the professional speaking business that I'm working on building, the big thing I'm doing is to tell, show, and do. And that is, everybody thinks they're going to rely on an Instagram post or something to go viral. And not all communities are like that.
Right.
You have to go out and let everyone know who you are by the show part is showing people your business. And it's not showing them that you have great coffee. It's showing them that you're a great person and that you're here to support the community.
That's for sure important.
And that's where your Lotus drinks got me through several days up there. I come by, I was like, I need caffeine and I don't drink soda. And I was dying. I mean, that's a long week with running the businesses and then being at the fair all night. The
fair hours are so long. I was like, this is a whole different world for me.
It is.
I'm also so used to with the fair in particular. My old job was at a bar. So I went from bar time to coffee time in two different worlds. So it was
huge.
I was awake the whole day. Well, I mean, I would get tired about 8:30 and I'd be like, oh, wow, we still have 2 more hours left of this.
Oh, I know. And there's nights at the fair too. If you get a slow spell, it's like, oh my goodness. And you watch people close up, but then all of a sudden you get a rush. And there's been many times that I've went early and went home and then you get the people heading out and I'm slammed again at the booth. And like I said, I don't really sell or enroll a lot of people up there. And I don't push for that. Last year we did the clicky thing. I don't think I'm even going to mess with that again because we had 180 names on that by the end of the fair. And a lot of people came in, but not right away with it. I could have just given flyers out.
Right.
It was a lot of extra work and a lot of people coming by and spinning it a whole bunch or, well, I don't want to do that. Or it was more of a headache than it was worth, but you would get those people coming back out that would hit the booth again. It was like, nope, we got to wait.
Right.
And it sucked. There was one night I was like, you know what? I'm going home. We're closing. I was like, I'm exhausted. I can't keep my eyes open.
Right.
And I was like, I want to go home because I don't really, unless when my wife brings the kids up, I don't see anybody in my family that entire week.
Dang.
I just went home.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. It was still 8:00, but to me, it felt like I was closing up early.
Right. Was it the night that it rained? Because
it might have been.
Threw everybody off.
I've been doing it for so many years now. That's what I was thinking. It was the night that it started raining and we all ended up, because that's happened a couple years But I want to say that one night I ended up dropping the tent. We just went home because it was already kind of a slower night because of the threat.
Yep.
But it's really cool to see how everything's taken off and you know, how professional your logo and stuff is. What inspired you want to do the coffees? You said your other job, you worked at a bar.
Yes.
So what made you make that transition?
It's funny because I never, ever, ever thought I would do anything service related because I have a horrible memory. I can't remember anything. Like anytime all my friends worked as servers or bartenders in college, and I was like, no, I can't remember anything. I don't want to do that. That would like stress me out. I love the like aspect of talking to people, but that's it as far as that. But after college, I graduated with a degree in public relations, and I literally just did that just to like get through college.
Yeah.
I was like, I can do something. I can
just
write
get right through
papers.
it.
I can talk to people. I'm like, I'll do that. So did that, tried applying for, I wanted to get into like, I'm big into nonprofit organizations. So that was my thing. I either wanted to do nonprofit work or I wanted to work in the music industry, doing like being a publicist or public relations in some aspect there. And I graduated during COVID.
Yeah.
No jobs. Like
I bet that'd be a hard one.
apply all the time, and everyone's like, no, 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 no. And Amanda Bellman at Mustang Sally's and my fiance are really good friends. So I was just one night up at the bar drinking, talking to her, and she's like, why don't you work at the bar? And I was like, because I'm going to be terrible at that. And I ended up doing it just because I literally couldn't find a job.
Yeah.
And I had moved back here to be closer to my boyfriend at the time. So I started working there at the bar, and I just loved doing that. Like I loved talking to people, like getting to interact with people, and the relationships I built there. I was like, I love the service industry. So Brandon and I, we went in on an RV with his parents, and we were trying to find something that we could do to like work to where we could travel and be on the road. And I was like, I love talking to people, and I love coffee, and he was like, why don't we do a food truck? I'm like, I don't like food. Like, I mean, I love food, but
yeah, but it's gross. You got to clean up. You got to have a prep kitchen. Like there's a lot.
I was like, that is a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, let's do coffee. I love coffee. Brandon's like, well, you do go to coffee shops like 3 times a day. And
you
I'm
just
like,
save money on having your own.
Right. Yeah. Literally, he all the time's like, you spend too much money. And now I'm like, I still spend it. It's just like our product, literally. Yep. So we were going to start it to travel and pull it behind the RV. And then I wanted to start here, though, just to get a feel of how to run a business. Had no idea how to do any of that. So we started that, and we started it here, and then it just took off.
Yeah.
And I like met so many cool people and built so many relationships, and everyone's like, you have to stay.
Yeah, you got to stay now.
And so I just fell in love with it. Like everyone here, the community's and so good here, and all the people were so great. So I was like, we'll stay.
Yeah.
So we're here to stay. And
That's
now we're
awesome.
just trying to expand the business. That's another thing I didn't. Like I'm very much a person that's like, I'm content with
this
whatever.
works. Let's just keep doing it.
Like I'm very just like, I don't know. I don't care to have like all the things. I'm just happy. I just am content. And Brandon is like a go-getter. He's always like wanting to do more and something, and he's just like great work ethic.
Well, it's a great match for you guys then as a couple.
So we are working on expanding now.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and you can tell by your social media and stuff that you're a fun person. You really like what you're doing. You're excited with your clients. There's a couple different things that you do on there that I think is really neat, how you incorporate them into it. And you can tell it's not a pre-planned marketing thing. It's just you having fun with what you do.
Yeah.
And I think people forget that about what they're doing. And I have to bring myself back to that with the martial arts school. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to be professional. We got to greet the customer when they come in the door. And I'm like, this sucks. It is not fun. And then when I go back to just having fun and teaching, one of my instructors messaged here night said, when's the next belt testing? I said, it's kind of my fault. I've just been teaching whatever the hell I wanted every night.
Yeah.
She's like, well, that's cool. We always have fun with that. I said, I know, but some people are like, they want to move up in rank.
Right.
Well, I'm just having fun doing my thing and coming off the cuff with what I want to do that night. And when I do that, I'll notice a big growth in the business too, when I get my head straight on that.
I think that's such a big thing that I'm always just very, like I'm a vibe person. I want good vibes. I want to be enjoying what I'm doing, because I don't think there's any point in hating your job or hating what
no.
you're doing. That just makes everybody miserable and puts off bad energy for other people to take in. I'm like, I don't like that. So my biggest thing is just like, I want to go there and have fun. And I don't know, I just love to do things throughout the day to like pull people in to like make them have fun too, so that it's like an experience. That's like my biggest thing with Golden Brew that I didn't expect to, just because I also went from like the bar. So the bar's like very laid back. Everybody's just drinking, hanging out. And then it's like coffee. And
they're waking up.
Whenever I thought of that, I was like, I was scared to go into coffee just because I'm like, I don't want people to be like cranky and mean and like picky and particular and like, I don't
like
know.
Starbucks.
You just literally,
No. Yeah,
you just have like this thing about like people like coffee snobs.
Yeah,
but
they're all up early. Just give me my coffee. Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wanted to make a different atmosphere.
It's so cool though,
Or
because
culture.
it literally just like I just say it all the time, like we have the best customers. Like people who come through are just like also there to have like a good vibes, like to have a good day, to get their coffee, like to talk.
Yeah.
I love like getting to know customers. That's my biggest thing too. I'm like, anytime we hire a new girl, I'm like, okay, so whenever a customer comes, like make sure you feel connected to them. Like I want the customer at the end of your guys' interaction to feel like they know you better or you know them better.
And that's important, especially in a small town. It was one of my hard things at the martial arts school was like talking to every customer, signing them up. The painting company, meeting every customer, bidding the job, getting to feel like, okay, this is gonna be a good fit. This isn't like, this is what they want. Talk to them, communicate. For a fact, I was shy at a young age. I'm just naturally able to talk to people now.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That is so important. And your vibe and what you're giving off. And if you're able to do that with your clients and teach your employees, that's amazing. And you can see it through your social media, and you can see it how like the different people I know in the community that come through there and tag you guys and are in your pictures, and you could tell they're having fun.
Yeah.
Which, like you said, that's more of that bar feel than a morning coffee shop feel. Everybody's sitting around groggy, waking up, getting their drink or whatever. Like you guys are doing something different, and that's people want that. People want that connection.
I am Julie Forster with Crafty Midwestern Mommy, your local boutique embroidery and fabric store. I sell fabric as well as sewing notions and also teach classes. And then we also, on the other side of our business, do machine embroidery, custom apparel for local businesses, and just personalized gifts. Again, the store's name is Crafty Midwestern Mommy, and that's how you can find us on all social media platforms as well as our website.
Yeah, I think it was so not intentional with social media. I just have fun with social media, just like how I do at the coffee shop. But I'm thankful that things played out in that way, just because I do feel like people will see like our social media and they're like, oh, I think I would like these people. So like we do, like the social media part is so big. I try to anytime somebody's asking me for advice, I'm like, just like in your social media, just portray like what you want your business to be. I mean, obviously what you want your business to be seen as, but more than just like the strict details of like what we serve, things like that.
Some people go too crazy at that. We're listing this house, we're selling this product, we're doing this, we have this 8-week introductory program. And it's like, well, what's everybody doing? Like parents at my school have talked, they've been there for a while, and they're like, when you got the stick out of your butt and started letting the teens have fun, and they all sit at the front desk and they joke, and it's such a fine line because people come to us for discipline in martial arts. Like there's a point to where I'm like, okay, you guys need to tone it down.
Right.
But when I started doing that, they're like, we noticed the big change in the school, and the kids could hang out more, and the socializing. And with you doing that with your business naturally and having that, I didn't pick up on that with business at how much people buy from people. People use you because they love you. I mean, the amount of comments on your stuff is awesome. That your clientele really like you that much, and that you're having fun with it.
Right.
You're enjoying it, and it is portrayed in your social media. I
appreciate that.
I'm kind of a snob at that stuff. When I look at people's social media, I'm like, why are you? We don't care that you have another sale. Like show what's going on. Show the event. Like I started a while back, and I actually went too far with it. I was taking all these photos of my instructors and them helping each other at the tournaments and all this stuff, and this family and all the people. And someone goes, you haven't been in a single post on your own page in 6 months. I was like, oh, that's probably important. People probably need to know I'm still here, huh? And they're like, yeah, because none of my teens are real big into social media. So it's on me.
Yeah.
and I have the vision for it. So we had to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why I've been doing all the content with Joe and them and putting stuff out there that shows I am there. But you doing it in the way you guys do it, was it this morning, you and your friend making coffees or something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't, you didn't have to have a special, you didn't have, but you post so much. You're always having fun. It tells people, you know what? I need a coffee.
Yeah.
And they're going to see that and they're going to smile and they're going to go, yeah, I'm going to go up there and get a coffee.
Yeah.
Even if they don't come that day, they're going to come because your stuff pops up consistently on both your page and your business. I follow them both. It both kind of pops up in my feed.
Thank you.
And it's fun. You see that and you're like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah. I always want people, that's just my huge thing. I just want people to leave. Like, I feel like there's so much just negativity. And like, there's plenty of that. Like, I just want to like push anything but that. Like, I just want people to be happy and like get that whenever they come, whether it's, I don't know. I feel like people sometimes will come through having a bad day and I'm just like, no. And I don't know. That's just my biggest thing. I love being able to do that. And it's cool that other people do appreciate that because going into this, didn't have any idea how to run a business or do anything like that. And I just feel like I did it. And I'm just so glad to see that things are like people want to be a part of Golden Brew.
Yeah.
Like it's just so cool that other people want to be a part of this thing that we've created that
isn't that wild?
So unintentional, but it's so cool.
Yeah. When people start wanting to be a part of a brand or something that was in your head, or like you said, that was unintentional.
Yeah.
You didn't plan it. And I hope that people, when they look back, like after we've filmed a lot of episodes so far, but they haven't all released.
Mm-hmm.
I hope in like a year or two, maybe somebody's listened to a bunch of them can say, wow, nobody really planned it this way.
Mm-hmm.
None of us, like, we may have had good intentions and we were going to try hard and we were going to do this, but nobody laid everything out the way we did. Like, as I started a painting company, I started realizing things and making changes and adapting and doing stuff that grew us to a point. Or with the martial arts school, I was going to do this, and this, and it was going to be really cool. And then after we were going to only wear white uniforms. We were very old school. And my one instructor's still with me now, her kids, and she had a bunch of family members, friends that went to the school. And she's like, listen, I'm done keeping these white uniforms clean. Can we please get colors? And I'm like, cool, let's do colors. Now we're one of the most colorful dojos you've ever seen.
Love that.
But that wasn't how I planned it. I wanted to be staunch white. I wanted to be very traditional. I had all these ideas. And that all went out the window after I started doing it and listening to what my client. Now, I could have stuck to my original plan and probably failed, but through changing and adapting and growing as a person.
Yeah. Being like conforming to clientele. And that's something in business I was like, oh no, I know that I'm going to want to do, like, for instance, us getting Friendship Farms donuts.
Yes.
Like that was something I never planned to happen, but I was just talking to people in the community. And I was like, we're going to do a coffee shop. And I'm like, but I don't want any food. Like, I don't want that stress on me at all.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't know, something I have no interest in. And I was talking to customers at the bar and they were like, well, you have to have donuts. And then I was like, oh, well, I'll look out, or I'll like talk to the local places, and got in with Friendship Farms. And it's been great though, because like Friendship Farms and I just vibe off of each other, and we've like just been great business partners.
Great people, great donuts too.
Yes, so good. I love them.
And
Brit is so amazing.
Something else that's really cool in Lincoln County is so many of us use each other. For stuff.
Yeah.
I talked to people when COVID happened. That's when I met Julie Rogers, right? Right when COVID happened, a bunch of us, I got invited to a call with some lady I didn't know, and we were going to discuss what we could do during COVID, because everybody's business was shut down, weird times, nobody knew what was going on. And we discussed, it was like, well, let's come up with this idea or that idea. And a bunch of us on the phone call said, let's just support each other.
Yeah.
Let's just do everything we can to support each other. And our community does that. There's so many different businesses that use stuff from everybody. Like, I have all these bag racks in the school. I can order those online, pre-made, get them shipped. But I went to Kinsey Swafford to have them made.
Yeah.
They made them. He did much better steel. He did a bunch of stuff. I had to paint them myself, but they were local. The front desk, I found a local cabinet maker to build me a desk. The only thing I bought when I did a huge remodel, HK is located, has an office in Troy, who makes all my gear. The only thing I had to do was Fuji is in like California or something. I'd order my mats from them because no one makes those. But everything else was local. Every single thing I could possibly do local, I did. We all do that.
Right.
you know, you could find a supplier for donuts somewhere else, but you don't. You use great local donuts from Friendship Farms. Like, there's so much like that our community does. It's so amazing. And I that's one of the big reasons for having this podcast is that we can sit down and talk about this stuff in long format so people really grasp that. They don't just see a 30-second reel. They get to know everyone.
Yeah. I think this community, like Lincoln County, is awesome for supporting each other. Like, it's just, and it feels good. Like, it just feels good to be the person like supporting another business, but it also feels so good whenever someone is doing the same for you. Like, every time I get to, I don't know, anytime I need a new outfit, like going into Don Taylor or going to Wilbur and me, like, they're happy that they're getting the support from another business. And then just like a post that just, like, whenever people do that for me, I'm just sitting there smiling, like cheesing at my phone. I'm like, wait, this is just, it makes them happy. And I love, like, I'm just a big gift giver, but in my gifts, I like to I'm the kind of person that's like I don't know how to explain it. I like to like just make people feel like important or appreciated.
Yeah, you want to find something that connects with them.
Yes, I love doing that with people. And it's just so cool to see like something like a business is like the most personal thing besides your kids. I mean, honestly, sometimes. But people love that. Like, whenever you are supporting their business, they're just like, wow. And they feel that connection and they reciprocate it. And it's just so cool. Lincoln County really does like top notch with that.
Yeah, it's something I struggled with when I built the painting company up, because I worked for a painting company and I did side work and I built up all these clients. And as we grew, and then we got really, really, really busy. Like, I'm talking like 12 weeks scheduled out with 14 painters. Like, I couldn't squeeze anyone in anywhere. And I had so many people call me that were longtime clients, great relationships. Hey, we're in a pickle. We got to do this. Can you guys please get this taken care of for me? And I couldn't do it. Hey, my guys were moving some furniture in somewhere. They knocked a chip out of the wall. Can you take care of it? And I'm like, I can't. I'm on job sites all day helping. That was really hard for me. And now that we've kind of pivoted and went back to being a smaller company again, I laid a lot of people off. I went back to just trying to focus local because that's what I enjoyed. Yeah. Growing it to a much bigger size, I don't want to run something like that. I love painting in town, being able to go home, clean up, go teach at my Taekwondo school, like having that connection and meeting all the people and working with the kids and going to the schools. Like, I'm going to the school district for a meeting tomorrow. I really liked that. And that was something that I struggled with as we grew because I was losing that connection. Now I was just behind a computer running a business. And I'm like, ugh, I know this is what they tell you to do, but I don't like this.
Yeah. I had the same exact thing happen whenever, so like, I loved the fact that people wanted to work at Golden Brew. I was like, yes. And then I kind of just wasn't there as much. And so for a while I was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the rest of the days I was just focusing on like our expansion that we are working on, which is awesome. And I'm still doing that. But it was just like, it took me away from the human interaction. And I was like, oh no, I love that part of it.
Yeah, you're a definite people person. I could see that. I want to be able to
keep doing that. So that was a struggle for me too. Like, just being like, okay, no, I do enjoy this part of it. Like, I want to still be this part of the business, no matter what, no matter how big we get. Like, I still want the human interaction because that's my favorite part of it. So
yeah, and that's something
can't lose that.
I've worked on personally of, how to grow the brand and the business and still maintain that, because some people are able to do it. I did it wrong and wasn't able to, and realized I didn't really like it. I didn't like constantly churning through new help, new accounts, losing longtime accounts or relations because we had grown and it was not really in my hand anymore to take care of everything they needed.
Right.
So maybe a decision be made on their part or, an employee's part that wasn't the way I would have done it. That was a struggle because I liked working with my clients. I liked getting those calls. A friend of mine, when I walked in here tonight, messaged me and was like, hey, I know you'd never drive to Wichita to paint, but what would you recommend we do? I said, actually, I virtually train a couple students in Wichita.
Oh, that's awesome.
I would love to come up there and paint your house because I could come see them in person. Normally, I'm always waiting on them to come to me. I said, I could come to you guys. And she was like, no way, really? I was like, yeah, we've known each other since kindergarten. I painted other houses for her, but she lives there now. I was like, yeah, I would love to actually come up there. I couldn't have done that a year ago because the size of the company. I would have had to tell her, I'd be like, no, I'll have to refer you to someone. And that would have bugged me.
Yeah.
I love being able to say yes. I had someone message about some stuff 2 hours away. She owns a bunch of apartments. Hey, can you take care of these for me? And I was able to say yes. I'm like, great. And it's good. It's good money. It's a little bit of a headache, but I can run down there and knock it out.
Right.
And we're back to a point of doing that, which is something that I missed. And when I was teaching all my instructors to teach and watching them a lot, I was just dark. I didn't like it. As soon as as school got back in after the summer and I had to go back to teaching all the classes again, and they're there supporting me, but majority of them I run, I felt like a million times. I was coming home in a better mood. Casey's like, yeah, you just like to be the worker guy. I'm like, yeah, I have to do this. I can't be the supervisor person.
It's also hard to do that because I don't know. I'm very much, since we did like make this thing, I'm just like, and then I don't want to be that person that's like a micromanager. So I'm like, no, I like being there. I like to be able to do it.
I find when you're there leading, it works better for the employees. It sucks because there is a time that might not be feasible.
Yeah.
But like I'm back in a truck painting all the time, running out my trailer, and I've noticed the different issues with the people on the job sites went down by tenfold.
Right.
I'm on the mats more at the school. I've noticed little issues. Like it's just better when you're the one in front, and not everybody likes that. I personally would rather live by a different means and run my business that way than to be like, oh, we made $1.5 million, but I don't have that connection. I really do. And I'm not a micromanager and I'm not a control freak on anything. I just like to work. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
And you could tell that with everything you're doing up there. It's fun. So like, what's your expansion idea? What's your thoughts, if you don't mind talking about it?
So we are working on franchising.
Yeah.
That is in the works right now.
That's a big deal.
Oh, it's so
Congrats.
huge. It was scary, but we're doing it, and it's still going to be local.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much about it.
No, you're good. You don't have to.
Just because I don't know what all I can say, but we are expanding. We are franchising.
That's awesome.
And it'll be a local franchise with it's a person that everyone loves. So I'm so excited for it.
That's really cool.
We've done a lot. Like this past year, it's just been crazy because I literally thought we were just going to like skim by and pay the bills and like this business was going to like stay afloat. It was so crazy. But we've been able to buy a property in Wentzville, in Moscow, and now the franchise. And it's just like,
great for you. Good job.
What is going on? So it's happening. We're doing it. But it's so fun to just still, I don't know. I'm still just like that.
How old are you?
26.
26. That's really young to do that too. That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
You watch all these people get online and they bitch about millennials or all these different generations, all these different age groups. And they're just regurgitating crap they hear because there's so many of you guys that are younger, even some of my high school age students that are doing really big things. Yeah. Like, yes, there are a lot of people that don't want to get up and go to work every day, but that's in every age group. There's a lot of shit in everywhere.
Right.
But there's a lot of people like yourself that, that's big.
Thank you.
And, you look at someone that's, say, 45 and doing billions of dollars in coaching now, that's where they started.
Yeah.
Is where you are, I could see you telling that 10 years from now or 20 years from now being like, I remember when I franchised out and, I was this age, that's huge. And that's really cool. It's interesting how in business, how we set, hey, this year, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to chill. I'm going to do this. And next thing you know, you're wrapped up in some huge project. You're like,
what?
Shoot, how did I do that?
I did not plan for that.
Anytime I say those words anymore, this year's going to be like this. My wife's like, cool. Give it 48 hours. Let's see what plan you got going.
I know. I'm the same way. Like anytime an opportunity arises, I'm like, I like sleep on it. And then I'm like, okay, let's do it.
And why would you say you do that?
It's
like, it could be a hard one.
That's just my personality. Yeah. I'm very like, I am very much a spur of the moment person. I love adventure. I love doing new things. It just keeps me entertained. So anytime it's like, it's going to be a challenge, I'm like, okay, I think I can do it. Let's try it.
And see, that's what I think a lot of people forget about business owners is that's how most of us are. Oh, that's a challenge. Oh, I can't. Oh, okay. Like, let's figure this out. Yeah, whereas a lot of people look at it and they're like, greedy. I feel very fulfilled teaching martial arts. I don't feel extremely fulfilled with painting. So I'm going into coaching painters.
Yeah.
Not for the money, but because it felt good. I went to lunch with
Yeah.
somebody that was wanting some information, helping building their painting company. We had great conversations. I felt great. Like when I leave here every Tuesday, I am just on fire, excited
Yeah.
because of sitting down with like-minded people.
Right.
Because that fills our cup. But most people are
For
like,
sure.
oh, he's doing this. That's for money. Oh, he's going to say, oh, that's going to be for money. Well, yeah, money makes the world go around. It ain't going to be free for me to travel all over the place speaking. I am going to get paid.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be away from my kids all the time. So if I am going to get paid to come speak, it's going to be a pretty penny. I've listened to several different, very successful people that speak, and they're like, yeah, I got a busy ass plate. You want me to come talk? Let's see the zeros.
Right. It has to.
And that's what I want to do with it. But I'm not doing it for... Most of us business owners don't do it for the money, and we don't plan it out. We're like, oh, I think I'm going to do this. Next thing you know, we're like, crap, I'm doing this. Next thing you know, we're like, wow, it's actually working.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to buy a t-shirt? You want with my, like, I get high school kids hit me up for hoodies. I'm like, you want a painting hoodie?
Right.
Oh, dude, we love your hoodies. I'm like,
Okay.
wow, okay, didn't see that coming.
No.
Or at the fair, the kids collect, we do rubber bracelets. They collect them. I had kids come by like, hey man, you got any green ones? I'm like, what are you guys doing? Finally, I stopped a couple. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, well, someone told me there was like a drinking game with collecting bracelets.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
And I was like, are you little turds getting drunk? Because they're all like 14. I'm like, we need to talk. So I don't want to be involved in this. And they're like, no, we collect them. They're like,
Get my
Michael,
bracelets
show
out.
him your arm. And the kid pulled it up. He goes, I got the ones from last year too.
That's
And
so
I was like,
precious.
no way. I didn't think that because I was worried they were doing something, they were making a game out of it, and I didn't want someone getting hurt.
Right.
And the fact that they collect them up kind of blew me away. I'm like, no shit, you want my stuff.
Right. It is the coolest
neat.
thing whenever people feel that connection. Like this is whenever I just like, I don't know, I realized the business was so much more than I anticipated it ever
More
being.
than a business?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had 2 kids last year. They made like their school Valentine's boxes. Like we had just started in October and this was February. 2 kids, like one of them had my face on their Valentine's box, and they like these little girls made their Valentine's boxes Golden Brew themed. They were like, we want to work here. We want to we love
that's
coming here. And I was
awesome.
just like, this is so much bigger than what I ever would have thought it was. Like, it's just so cool. I just love it so much.
And it's neat that
crazy.
you get to enjoy that too. I think sometimes we forget with the hustle and bustle of running a business to enjoy that. I've had so many people I know reach out, want to work for me, and really bust their tails. And then I find that as business owners, we get hit with so much negativity sometimes that we tend to dwell on that instead of looking back. That was my big thing for this year, is to just be more humble, appreciate that type of stuff more than to because you'll get bombarded with so much negativity. I'll have customers complaining about schedule times, start times, cost, whatever it is, every something. It's always something, and you'll just you tend to just drone on with it.
Yeah.
That it really does affect you more than you think. So that's something that when it does touch people in a positive manner, when I've had people come in the school, they're like, we just love the stuff you guys do. We want to be a part of it by going here.
Yeah.
That really hits home.
Oh, for sure.
When you have someone that you meet years later and they're like, this one time I was training or I was and this happened, it really made a mark for me.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. And that connection that you have, like, I guarantee if you knew the truth, there were probably a lot of clients, a lot of customers that come through that were, having a real shitty morning.
Right.
And you put a smile on their face, some caffeine to get them jazzed up, and probably change the tone of their day for the better.
Yeah, that's literally my goal. I think about it often. Like, I also I always dig into people's lives. I'm like, if I see someone's like off, I'm like, oh, what's wrong? And Brandon's always like, Ashley, chill. And I'm like, well, like, I want to know how I can help. Like, I want to know how I can make their day better. If I can give somebody a free coffee because something terrible happened in their life, like, I love doing that.
That makes you feel fulfilled.
Yeah,
It's like,
love
okay, cool.
being able to do it. It's awesome. I love it.
That's good. And it's good that you do take that and ask it, because a lot of people wouldn't. I find myself doing that too. I won't ask. I'll tread around it because it's like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Right.
Because I started having like people at school, once I got to a certain age, they'd come up and like sit at the desk. You could tell they wanted to get something off their chest.
Yeah.
And I finally just have started embracing it. Oh, so what's going on?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe the struggles they're looking for someone to talk to sometimes. Right. And they're, choosing you for that reason. They're being brought to you. Right. So there's people probably being pushed through that line for reasons you don't know.
For sure. I feel like everyone's going through something. So it's just so cool to be able to like be a positive influence or have some sort of positive impact just to because everyone's going through something. Everyone's having a bad time. Bad things happen. It's life. Like, it's just cool to get people's mind off of it.
Well, when you got a line stretched out really far, you got customers, you got stuff going on, you're trying to get things going, you miss the ice or something could have went wrong. And you're still able to just treat each customer like that and have that fun and enjoy it. It's going to make a difference, especially because you're going to have people sitting at the end of that line because they know that's what they're getting when they get to the window. And that's the hard part with the small businesses is we grow one like that, and then all of a sudden we want to replicate it.
Yeah.
And that's where the big kid stuff comes in.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
tough.
what you're learning.
It's tough.
It's hard. To do that. When I started running multiple crews, that's really and truthfully where I dropped the ball is the attention to detail. I'm a people pleaser. I want a customer to come home, and I would love it if I knew they were going to be home. They're like, all right, we're going to be home at 3:15 today. I would kill myself to get their house done so that and everything cleaned up.
Yeah.
So when they walked in, they're like, wow.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Where I find a lot of people don't care. It's a 9 to 5 or a 7 to 3. They just want to get paid and clock out.
Yeah.
People come home, the house is still a mess because there's plastic everywhere.
Yep.
They pick it up and they clean up, but there's not that wow factor.
Yeah.
I always love it when they're like, well, we're going to leave. We won't be home till 3:30 or something. I'm like, yes, I got a goal to blow the doors off this house when they come walking in.
Yeah. That's awesome that you do that for people.
Oh, I've had people tell us all the time, they'll give me a 5-star review because I vacuumed. It has nothing to do with anything else because I'll vacuum. I'm like,
Thank you.
Yeah, I've had one lady told my wife, like, send him over anytime. He's the first man that's ran a vacuum in my house. And I was like, well, how was the paint job? They're like, oh, yeah, you painted too. Thanks. They were more excited about it. But that's how most of our brains work.
Right. Little details.
There's probably a lot of people that have come through there that are like, I love the coffee, but man, Ashley made me smile today. Like, that's what's going to get that return customer because that connection, that's what gets you all the tags on Facebook and the people making silly faces in the window when you're taking pictures and holding up their coffees, which is, I love the fact you guys do that because
thank you.
It's a way to connect. And then it's mentally too, like I'll see friends of mine pop up on your page. I'm like, oh, they went there. I need to stop in there and get a coffee because I'm up so early and I don't come through that way. I was like, like I said, I stopped at the fair, but I was like, I got to swing in sometime, but it's constantly on my mind now because I see it because you post. I watch businesses take like a 3-month hiatus on posting. It's like, what are you doing? Like I've done it intentionally because we're so busy. Yeah. I've stopped, but I watch people just stop for no reason.
You're like, if I don't post, I'm just like, oh God, what was I doing? I'm slacking.
Yeah.
I'm just big on that though. Like the night of the chamber banquet, I didn't post that night. And then the next day I was like, oh my God, I have to make up for the post I missed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was a busy night. That gets hard.
Yeah,
and then remembering to do it and do your stuff and not constantly be holding your camera up gets
sure.
Gets wacky
for
too.
Sure. That's something that I'm also big on. Like I like to use my phone for work purposes, but like other than that, like people will be like, oh, they think I'm always on Facebook. I'm like commenting back and I'm replying to messages and I'm posting but like my personal page, I neglect that all the time. Like someone's like, oh, did you see so-and-so got married? I'm like, no. Or like my personal page, I never like reply to messages on there. I'm like, if you message a business page, you will be in contact with me. But
I almost did that last night. I was like, I messaged your personal page. I'm like, oh, she is bad about responding on here. I was like, I should message the business. Yeah. So I catch her because I'm bad about that too. I'll see stuff in my personal and I'll ignore it. But if it comes through the business page, I immediately, especially when Facebook was doing that whole rate your response time thing, I took that as a personal challenge. I was like, they're like, well, you're in the green. I don't remember what I was. It told me one time somebody had messaged, it was spam and I hadn't responded. Yeah. And it lowered my rating and pissed me off because I'm very good about responding on there. Not personal page, I'm good on there.
Yeah. I do the same thing. Like sometimes, because spam comes through all the time and I just let it sit there and I was like, oh, I can't do that. I don't want it to mess up my stuff.
Yeah. If I post like a new set of boxing gloves or something, you wouldn't believe the amount of Pakistani martial arts supply companies that just blow me up.
You're like, dang.
Brother trying to sell me gear. And I'm so glad they got rid of that rating thing because it was killing me because I'd get, well, and now you probably get them too, but your page is going to be disconnected or blown up or whatever. That one, the other day they were bad. Actually, someone posted about it and I was like, all right, everybody's getting these today because they're really annoying.
Yeah, I had one of my friends who owns a business. She called me and she's like, oh my God, Facebook is about to remove my account. And I'm like,
That's
send me that so that we can dissect that together. Because I don't think that Facebook is, I don't think you.
The original ones were really real looking. Now it's like Bob Smith is threatening you. Like they've really gotten, their standard has really dropped on screwing with everybody.
I've gotten like to the Golden Brew email, it'll say like literally something like Ron Smith or something. And it will say Facebook. And I'm like,
no.
Wow, you got me.
You got me there's good. A few of them that it's like, man, you didn't even try. Like, I'm almost offended. You need to put a little more work in to pull one over on me today. Did you think I was that dumb? Yeah. And I've got multiple pages, so they'll just blow up all day long, and it's frustrating, especially when trying to run a business from it. Because I'll do the same thing. I'll pull it up. I'll see what I'm tagged in. I try to watch for stuff that maybe people forget to tag me and comment. Yeah. And then I toss it down and go back to what I'm doing. Yep. I with the podcast and the content, all those reels I've got, everybody thinks they're like, man, someone this morning was like, how much time are you spending? I was like, 2.5 hours. That's it. 2.5 hours a week. And Joey and his team take care of everything. Awesome. I'm like, that is not me. I am responding to people organically, but that's it. Yeah. And I'll share. And I don't know if you do it, but I go in and schedule, like I'll schedule stories and schedule little videos to fill in the gaps between the organic stuff. Yeah. So I tell people, I'm like, I'm really not on social media that much. I'll spend a couple hours while me and the kids watch a movie on a Friday night, knocking some stuff out, but that's it. Yeah. I'm big on scheduling posts. I'm like, okay, now I'm set. Now I love whenever I like have posts scheduled for like the next 3 days. I'm like, I don't have to be on my phone for 3 days if I don't have to. Yeah. I'll do the max they'll allow me with stories and like little generic reels. Yeah. And then that way, if I do come across something organic, I can put it up. Yeah. Or I can wait 4 or 5 days and get some photos of some different projects, maybe get the beginning and end, or I've got a couple things I need to go back in and still finish for the academy, like me working with one of my students the other night, and I was going to make a cute little reel out of it, and I forgot. Like, then I can post that stuff and I don't feel pressured to. Right. I always hate it when I get home and I'm like, oh, I need to. Yep. Because having that on everyone's mind. And for sure. When you're dealing with something like a coffee shop, there's a lot of places to get coffee. There's a lot of people who can paint a house. It's why are they using us? Yeah. Like, what? I wanted to ask, where'd your logo come from? How'd you do your logo? So, Brittany Dickherber, Brittany Lassiter now, she owns now AM Prints in O'Fallon. She is one of my really good friends. She drew that for me, like painted it on a canvas to ask me to be in her wedding. And we started Golden Brew, and I was like, logo. And I was like, I came up with Golden Brew. It was like the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know. Why? No real story behind that? No. It just, I was going to ask. So we have Golden Retrievers. That's where I was going. Okay. The logo was painted of Bush and Natty, my 2 dogs. Bush and Natty. Yes. I was in college. Yeah, it's all good. I know a lot of people that have animals from college that are named. A friend of mine had Morgan, with Captain Morgan. It was a cat. I like that. That's good. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, we got Bush, and then I had to follow suit with Natty. I'm like, if we get another one, it's got to be Bud or Corona or something. I don't know. But yeah, she painted the canvas and it had Bush and Natty on it. And I came up with Golden Brew, and I was like, let's slap our Goldens on there. Perfect. I never thought about the dog aspect that was going to bring. I don't know. I didn't think of it. Like, whenever I said Golden Brew, I was just doing that. But then whenever we slapped our dogs on the logo, like, now Golden Brew is like, so our coffee that we get, the company that we purchase our beans from, they donate 20% to at-risk shelter animals. So, like, that's just a huge thing now that is a play on Golden Brew and what we do, and like our mission. Another business that did not plan things to be that way, but it happened. People think all that stuff is planned and there's all this big stuff behind it, and it's not. No, it just popped. That's great. It just popped in my head. And just worked. Yeah, see, I was expecting like way more. I figured it had something to do with the dogs. And I was like, well, but you're blonde, so maybe that's cool. Yes, I named it after myself. Well, you never know what people come up with. Like, really? I went Boyer Academy because old school martial arts were always Kim's Academy. Yeah. It was always something like that. It wasn't a new hip name, and I wanted that nostalgia. I love that. And I wanted the name on it for when I had kids, because it would be theirs. When my instructor changed the name of our school when I was a kid, I never liked it. I always liked the original name. Yeah. And I did a red and blue yin yang because it's a Korean flag, but it's also the yin yang. And I wanted people to be able to see it. There was a little bit of thought there. Boyer painting, I just did because B is early in the alphabet.
Yeah.
And I knew it would pop up before some other painters I knew. So I did that. And I really only planned on just me painting stuff to give me more time to travel with the martial arts. And then next thing you know, I had a couple employees. Next thing I had a couple more. Next thing you know, we're adding trucks and doing so much other stuff. And I thought about selling franchises. I was like, well, I had an employee that had family in Kansas. I was like, well, maybe we could do franchises. Well, there's a lot of places that'll sell you franchise. And that's why I've kind of went into the coaching part now. I'd rather teach people how to do it.
Yeah.
But it's wild with business owners. We don't plan every aspect out.
Yeah. It was, I love though, like people bring their dogs. Like people will bring their dogs to come see us and then bring their dogs back home and then go to work. And I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Awesome.
Like we get to see dogs all the time and everyone's just, all the dogs are, I love dogs.
And that speaks to your culture, that speaks to your branding, that speaks to so much that didn't intentionally happen. Like you didn't have a big, huge corporation behind you laying all that out of how your brand, Simon Sinek does the, know your why.
Yeah.
You didn't have a big company analyzing it being like, oh, Golden Brew's why is this. And we want to make a customer feel this. So we're going to do these things because psychologically they do. No, you're just being you because this is where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. It is so cool now though that we've done it and we see it like now. I feel like moving forward we do have a why now, but it was so like
it wasn't planned. Yeah.
But like we have it now. So I'm excited for the future. It's crazy. I don't know.
And that's how so much stuff works. And your excitement and your love for it is what's great. Like now, you graduated college. What'd you say your degree was?
Public relations.
Public relations.
Yes.
So what all is entailed in that?
It was a lot of public speaking, writing papers, just social media stuff. I honestly hated all of my social media classes.
Yeah.
I do nothing that they ever said to do.
But do you feel like some of that knowledge, doesn't help at all? Or?
Oh, for sure. It was good in like helping me see bigger picture things for sure. So like in college, I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. I was like an intern there. And then I also worked inside of the clubs with the kids too. So I was like their social media marketing, donor relations person. And I think that internship, I'm very much a hands-on person. Like I like to learn from doing it rather than like sitting in a classroom and reading, taking notes. So like doing that made me realize how social media works, how like growing, like connecting with potential clients, like in a business way, even though it was a nonprofit, it was like we were trying to find donors that that cared about our mission. So it was just big about like pleasing the people.
Yeah, you got to connect with them.
You want someone,
there's got to be a connection there.
I think that for sure helped me in the business, just
giving you a good understanding maybe.
Yeah, of like how to connect. And also that was so large scale for me. Like these people had millions of dollars who were donating to this organization. And I was just like this little girl talking to these people who had all this money. I was like, hey, I'm Ashley.
Yeah. We painted a house once and one of my guys who was broke as could be at the time by his own fault was painting, and the gentleman who owned the house, he had bought the house for over $1 million, knocked on the door and bought it. It was on the market.
Dang.
And he was negotiating like a $5 million marketing campaign rollout for a business out of state and all this stuff. And, Paul's sitting there. Paulie's getting ready to borrow, 99 cents from me to get a fountain soda at the gas station. And he's listening to this guy deal with millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And then comes out and it's like, oh, what's up, guy? And it was like super nice.
Yeah.
And I just remember him like looking at me. I'm like, what? Because I had my headphones in.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And I took him out and I'm listening. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cool deal. Like I thought it was neat, but I didn't read into it too much. I knew by the house and by meeting the guy, he knew his shit because he had played games when interviewing painters. He had played the I'm running late card, so I left. When I came to do the first bid, I was like, sorry, man, I'm booked up. I can't wait for you. Then when he had me come back, he made me wait a little bit. Well, it was a Saturday morning. I had some time, so I hung out. Then when he called and was like, hey, I'm home, I was a little irritated because I was parked in front of his driveway. I knew he had been home the whole time.
Right.
But I walked up to the door real quick, and as soon as we started talking, his demeanor changed. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, the lady who was here before you took her 26 minutes to get from her truck into my house. He goes, so I told her, no, thank you. If it took you that long to get your ass out of your vehicle and get up here, I'm not interested. Like, it was really interesting. He broke me out because I painted for him now for years, off and on, all his projects. Like, he just, hey, Matt, I need this done. Send me a bill. Great customer.
Yeah, it's nice.
But he took people through those trials and tribulations to get them there. So I already knew the guy was, pretty high level at whatever he did. Whatever he did was good at it. I knew that the Audi he pulled in the garage with was at least $80K.
Yeah.
I could see the rear badging to tell if it was even higher than that, but it might have been higher than that. So it's just funny, like, listening to him, like, when you deal with people on that level, you're like, whoa, like, I'm just me and you're dealing with millions. Wow.
It is crazy, like, how intimidated we get. But then whenever you that's like something that's so crazy too. Like, whenever you just human connection, like, at the end of the day, people just want to feel like their life is good and they're human and people care.
No, and that's something I think our community in general cares about.
For sure.
Is working with people, making sure they feel cared. I talk to a lot of people that are building businesses or getting a big social media presence and different negativity, different feedback. You listen to big time podcasts and different things, and they're like, oh man, you just can't even read the comments and all the hate. And I feel like in Lincoln County, we deal with that on such a minimal level.
Oh yeah.
Like,
our comments are like, we love you. You're great.
Yes.
Like,
yes. This is great.
We're
Keep
so
it up,
lucky, for sure.
Yeah. And on the random event, I do get something negative. It's normally a misunderstanding. Someone's told someone something that wasn't true, or it was like a bad marketing attempt from a competitor to try to snub me for something. And you just click through a person's profile. You're like, oh, they go to that school. Okay. They obviously that wasn't warranted. And I'll argue with them a little bit, but.
Or they live 5 hours away and they just stumbled across your page and they want to say something. Just to say
I had
something.
someone do that. Okay. They lived on like the other side of the U.S., put on there, I was calling kids names in class and, fake profile, fake everything, and I tried to get it deleted, and Facebook just wasn't even worth it. I have like 75 5-star reviews, something insane, and then 2 bad ones. And one of them's a 3-star from someone that owed me money. I had to kick them out because they hadn't paid for like 4 months. Finally, I'm like, you got to go. And another one is that one. And then there's one for Boyer painting that someone put on Boyer Academy because he's a dummy.
Oh.
I had to laugh at that one because I wouldn't respond. Basically, he wanted us to take out of the contract, we could sue him if he didn't pay me. And I'm like, well, if you're planning on paying me, that wouldn't be acceptable. I want a sporting chance. I'm like, no, I'm good. And that's what he was mad about. I wouldn't
protect yourself
paint for
in
him.
business.
It was funny because when he was texting me texting the office about it, having his fit, I was actually at Rotary with my attorney. And I slid my phone over. I'm like, hey, this guy doesn't like what you wrote. And he's like, do you need legal advice? Because don't paint for him. I'm like, no, I don't need the advice. I'm not paying.
I wasn't going to.
I know, but we were just laughing about it because he was like, people.
Right.
We don't get a lot of that out here. People are happy to support. They love the community.
For sure.
And I wouldn't change that for the world. Like when I go back into O'Fallon or I go somewhere else to another area, you could feel the vibe difference. You could feel the people and the support. I know there's other places that support small businesses really well, like Lincoln County does, but I've never seen them.
Right. I feel like, and since we're like a part of this, like it just hits home. It's like whenever I go back to like Pike County, I love Pike County. I love like the hometown feel. Like everyone's like, oh my God, Ashley's back. Like Ashley, we brought Golden Brew there a couple times and everyone's like, oh my God, Ashley's coffee shop is in Louisiana and wherever else we've gone. And it's cool to have that hometown feel, but it's just like, it's so cool that I'm not from, like, I mean, I went to kindergarten here, but I'm not like from here. I didn't grow up with all of these people that are now like some of my closest friends. But they feel like it because of, it's just how Lincoln County is. It's awesome. I love it.
Well, and you'll meet people too that'll be like, if you didn't grow up here, you ain't getting nothing done, blah, blah, blah. The old heads are doing it. Bullshit. That is not true at all. I'm a transplant. I grew up in O'Fallon. I had my school in Wentzville. I had a second location out here, and then I just moved out here. I loved the area.
Yeah.
And Wentzville was focused on growing big companies, Dick's Sporting Goods, Freddy's, like the bigger chains, and that's what they're focused on, which is great.
Yeah.
Good for them. I love what they've done with it, but Troy was looking for small business.
Yeah.
And I could feel the difference when I met Rachel South at the chamber at the time, and I met everybody. I went, this is where I need to be. And so I finished up, I got moved out, I moved everything out here, full time, and it was the best thing I ever did. But like I tell people, I fit with the community.
Mm-hmm.
It fit for me. They wanted to have us at events. I wanted to go do things and get out in the community and meet people, and they took us in with open arms, and they were happy to do it. Last year, I went to like 5 of the local elementary schools and did career day stuff, did martial art classes with all the kids. It was a blast. It wore me out. I ended up getting sick after it because that's a lot of kids with snotty noses to run into. But I loved it. Whereas when I would try to do that stuff in Winsville, I couldn't even get in the front door.
Yeah.
It was very rarely I'd come across a teacher and be like, oh, that's great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Whereas out here, it's just a different community.
It is. It's very homey. It's like, we're just all like this. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And that's what's been so great. What's so much fun with this is the amazing people have said we want to come on. We can't wait. I was teasing Julie Rogers because I was like, do you know how many people tagged you or commented and wanted you to come on? She's like, oh, stop it. I'm like, I'm telling you.
She said, yes, I know. I am famous.
Yeah. I was teasing her. I'm like, dude,
sorry.
so many people have loved it. I was like, it's great.
Yeah.
But that we live somewhere that can do that.
It is awesome. This is awesome. I love this. I can't get over it.
It's
so
fun.
Cool.
This is honestly so much fun. But what I've been doing too is like purposely not reaching out to any of you guys other than, hey, come on, not trying to learn more about your business through anything other than just passively coming across it. So it is a good conversation too, to where I'm learning. I went to a 10X Expo with Grant Cardone had, and you could tell like there were a lot of speakers that come on stage that night for him to interview that he didn't give a shit if we were there or not. He was so excited to talk to him, and it made it so much more fun for me. Yeah. Even though I was like in the cheap seats. Right. It was still really cool. I just remember that left such a lasting mark that that's what's been fun about this. So what all do you guys offer at Golden Brew? For anyone, let's say that someone listens that doesn't come in there. Okay. What all do you offer? What are some of your favorite things up there?
So we have all of the coffee drinks, obviously. We've got drip coffee, espresso drinks, all of those things. We offer Lotus energy drinks, so the plant-based energy drinks. Those are a hit. Everyone loves those. They're so good. I'm a big coffee person, and I drink so much coffee, like trying new specials to try to like make everything perfect, that now I'm like, I need a Lotus. I cannot have a coffee today. I got to get away from it. But, and then through the week, we have muffins. We always have cake pops. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have our Friendship Farms donuts. So just things to drink. We have things for kids. So like we have flavored lemonades, and we have a lot of kids will get like flavored club soda. Like they'll just get a Lotus without the Lotus so that there's no energy. We have like decaf for kids. A lot of kids get that.
Oh, cool.
And then chocolate milks, hot chocolates, things like that.
I never thought about that, getting a kid decaf, because my daughter emulates everything I do, and I like coffee.
Yeah,
my wife won't touch coffee. I've even tried to get her different things, but she swears they still taste like coffee. Now, she'll do the Lotus. She loves the Lotuses. But the other things she won't. But I could totally see my daughter do. I didn't even think about that, because she's a girl, be such a basic white girl. It's just hilarious. Sometimes, like I just laugh at her sometimes, but she would. I could totally do that. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so many kids come through and they're like they order what their parents order. Yeah. I'm like, that's the cutest thing ever. Yes, we'll do that, but decaf for you. Or like, just it's so cool. But other than my favorite drink it's called a maple brandy. It's an iced maple pancake latte with a peanut butter cold foam. So good. I drink that like probably 4 times a week. It's so good.
I was gonna say, don't say a day.
Yeah, no, a week. One of our customers actually, I like had maple pancake. I like had different things you could do with maple pancake lattes on special one week. And one of our customers, she does hair. Her name is Abby Shelton. She was like, I want to, instead of adding peanut butter in it, I want to make it a foam. And she did that. And she's like, Ashley, you have to try this. This is the best thing in the world ever. And so we tried it, and I like to do like small business, like highlighting small businesses. So we did a signature drink for her and her business, and it was the maple brandy, because it's a hair term. Yeah. So that's still my top favorite drink. It's so good. But everyone else loves the salty dog. It's a caramel latte with a sea salt toffee caramel drizzle. It was actually the very first drink I ever made in the coffee shop, and it's our bestseller. Do you experiment with
a lot of them like that, or?
Yes, it's a lot of experimenting for sure. Just trying different things all the time to see what tastes good. I personally don't love caramel in drinks, but everyone else does. So I'm like,
Yeah, you
salty
gotta-
dog. Everyone loves salty dog.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what just having a business, you're going to have to, you're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
There's
It was hard for me to like be like, I don't like that, but you might love it. I say that all the time. I'm like, I don't like that, but
but it's
everybody
a good,
else
honest
likes
opinion.
it. Yeah.
I've learned to do that through a friend of mine. We'd travel martial art tournaments. He'd always be like, what do you recommend? Because we were trying a lot of different beers at the time.
Yeah.
And we'd order something for dinner, and he'd always ask them, what do you recommend? And it would frustrate me if we went somewhere and they're like, I don't know, everything's good. I'd be like, no, tell us, like we're traveling, you got a thick menu. Tell me what's a really good meal.
Right.
And I'll say yes or no. And then what beer do you recommend with it? And I would love it when people are like, oh man, you got to get this burger but don't get this, get the onion rings. Because onion rings are awesome. And then, dude, you want this beer? And Ron and I would both be like, sure, sounds good. I'll have what they're having.
So good.
And it was a great, and we had already had so much going on that day at the tournaments, everything else, that it was so nice to do that I like to do that. And even when we travel, my wife and I try to do a lot of local stuff. We try to find hole in the wall places to go eat and do different things. And most of the time you're never let down.
Yeah. And you meet
it's just
super
hard
cool people whenever you do that. I love doing that. We went to, so we saw this TikTok that was like a turtle racing. It was a super hole in the wall bar in Chicago. Brandon and I love Chicago.
Yeah.
So
we go up there too.
It's so fun. It was the last time we went there. Yeah. I saw this TikTok that was like a turtle racing thing. So I like searched. I was like, oh, I think that's in Chicago. So I searched it. And we get there and it's just this super tiny bar. And I just go up to the bartender and I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. What's your favorite shot? He's like, oh, I love blackberry brandy. And I was like, okay. Turns out he was the owner. I like rated I left him a review, like most fun bar ever. It was so much fun. And he saw that I left the review and he like came and brought us like all these shirts and was like, come back anytime. I'm like, that's just so cool. Like that's what you get whenever you like go to local places. You like get that experience that everybody is just good.
And I always like that. That's I think at some point I've had people make comment, oh, you just like to be Mr. Big Spender, or do this or do that. And it's like, no, I like being able to take the crew out for lunch or, my instructors come in, they really like a new uniform or something we got, just giving them one. Like, if we're at the fair and teens come up that I know being like, hey man, here, wear this hoodie. Let me give you this hoodie.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I enjoy being that person as an owner, not to be like, oh, I'm rich, I can do that, because I'm not. I like that because I'm the business owner and you're that person and that's fun. And like you said, you gave him a review and he come out. That's great.
Yeah.
And that's cool to be able to have that interaction. I think that's something that I feel, and there's probably like really popular names have said this too, but I feel like we're making a turn back to that. We're getting away from people wanting just all the corporate stuff and people being willing to slow down a little bit and use local more. I know it's happening in Lincoln County.
For sure.
But I think it's happening worldwide too, of people wanting to get back to knowing the business owners. I never even thought of that until I had my own businesses, of how many businesses have I worked at where I didn't know the owner.
Yeah.
Like, I worked at Jiffy Lube. I didn't know who actually owned Heartland Automotive. I knew the VPs. I knew this and this, but I didn't actually know who owned it.
Yeah.
I had a couple jobs like that. I was like, damn, that's really weird. I never thought about it until I was looking at putting a manager in charge of doing some things at the painting company. And I was like, oh, no way, go for that. I'm like, wait, it's what most businesses are.
Right.
How many times do you actually meet the owner?
Right. It is hard. Like, I always do that too. I'm like, oh, like whenever I'm thinking about expansion, I'm like, oh, like that's a thing. Like, Ashley, it's not like it's bigger. I don't know. It's just
I get what you're saying.
You never think about those kinds of things.
No, you start doing something.
Think
your
you're
brain,
doing it.
Yeah, your brain curves, and you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome having you on. I think we hit our hour.
Awesome.
That's us checking. I forgot to hit the timer. So, man, it was an awesome job today. Dude, this was great.
So cool.
I had a blast talking to you. You are definitely high energy, and I could see what everybody is so excited about it with, and always tagging you and stuff, because I bet it's got to be infectious coming through the line. So
I love it.
Thank you for making all those people smile. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. Guys, make sure you check out Golden Brew and Moscow Mills. Swing by, meet Ashley, and get to see how much energy she has without caffeine. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will catch you guys on the next episode of Lincoln County Podcast.